A very good evening, Zimbabwe. You are listening to Studio 7 from the Voice of America in Washington on Monday, June 20th, 2022. And this is Live Talk. I am Gibbs Dube. My co-host, Zininga, will join me shortly. Tonight on Live Talk, we are talking about World Refugee Day. World Refugee Day is an international day designated by the United Nations to honor refugees around the globe. It falls each year on June 20th and celebrates the strength and courage of people who have been forced to flee their home countries to escape conflict or persecution. World Refugee Day is an occasion to build empathy and understanding for their plight and to recognize their resilience in rebuilding their lives. Zimbabwe is among several nations with a large number of refugees living at Dongokara camp in Manicaland, drawn from nations like the Democratic Republic of Congo, Somalia, Rwanda, and others. At the same time, some Zimbabweans have over the years sought refuge in countries like Botswana. As the world commemorates this important day, there are currently millions of people worldwide seeking refuge in different nations. They include people from war-torn nations like Ukraine, Afghanistan, and others. There are also millions of political and economic immigrants worldwide that are facing similar problems. So-ke Zulukandaba lamhla-ke sikhuluma ngosuku lweziphepheli ukuthi kambe usuku lweziphepheli kume njani emhlabeni wonke jikelele nxa sikhangele kuyangazani abantu abaningi sibili babhekana lohlupho lolu olokuthi kumele besuke emazweni abo bayephephela kwezinye indawo. So this is our topic today, and we believe that there are so many refugees in different nations. I think right now we're joined by one of our guests, and that is Mr. Kabatela Ncube. He works in South Africa. So, Mr. Kabatela Ncube, welcome to the program, sir.
Ngiyabonga baba Dube.
Yeah, so-ke siyakwamukela kuhlelo lapho. So akusitshela ukuthi wena ulubona njani usuku lwe-World Refugee Day?
Yeah, ngibingelele abalaleli, ngibingelele bonke abantu nje abamameleyo lababhekile. Mina nje usuku lolu Dube engazama ukuthi nilutsho lona lungabe luqondile ukuthi lube isikhumbuzo ebantwini, but luba wesi kakhulu kithi abantu beZimbabwe. Ngani ngoba sihlukumezeka kakhulu emazweni lapho esikhona khona, sithuka ngalokhu nalokhu. Asamukelwa njengabantu like amanye ama-refugees kwamanye amazwe ukuthi let's say for example ukuthi umSouth African useGhana, use-Botswana okuphi, bamukelwa ngenye indlela different than thina siyahlukumezeka kakhulu baba Dube.
Kwenziwa kweni khonokho?
I think kwenziwa ngathi vele ngingashayi nje mfihla umphini nje ngomumo oselizweni ongangokuthi i-government yethu esibusayo ayisiphathi ngokulingana ngokufana kakhulu. Then kusuka kube lokuthi kusiba lohlangothi olungangokuthi kuba labantu thizeni okuthiwa bona kumele ubedle ama-resources elizwe bodwa, then kusosiba labanye okuthiwa no laba bavunyelwa laba. So yinto yangikhona eyinkinga kakhulu.
Yeah, nxa sesikhangele sibili siyabona ukuthi kukhona ongani kuhlupha abantu abafika khona ngapho babe yiziphepheli kumbe lokuthiwa ama-economic and political refugees, immigrants. So but ekucineni kwangikhona ubona ngani abantu bahlupheka kuze kutheni?
Ekugcineni kwangikhona baba Dube engakusho ukuthi ukuhlupheka especially ebantwini beZimbabwe kuzoba nzima kakhulu until le government ekhona iziye ikhutshwe. Ongangokuthi mina esayidini lami le party yami i-MRP vele nje ngizibonela nje ukuthi si-right sisithi no aliqunywe kuphela phakathi sizimele sodwa, because le into vele thina sodwa ngapha asithathwa njengabantu. Sithathwa nje njengabantu abangalancedo abangama-second hand nje sonke isikhathi sithathwa njengabantu abangathi kuthiwa abacabangi. Sibizwa ngokuthi asifundanga, sibizwa ngokuthi singamasela, sibizwa ngamagama athizeni, sikhona ngale elizweni okuthiwa ngelokuzala. Okungangokuthi kugcina kusiba ngcono ukuthi uzibonele ukuthi hayi ngcono vele sizimele sodwa, maybe sizothola lathi ukuthi sibe nozibuse wethu.
Yes, siyakuzwa kakhulu ke ubambe khonapho ke sizama ukuthi sithole abanye abantu abathe bacela ukungena.
Okay, Dube.
Okay, tell us a bit about World Refugee Day. What do you think about this day, Mr. Thandazani, Moyo?
Okay, thank you so much. To me, this day it's something that.
Oh, I think he got cut off, maybe because of his network or something. I don't know what could have happened to him. He had said he had secured a very safe place where we were going to discuss this issue with him, but I think he's facing some bit of a challenge there. So let's try him again. Continue, Mr. Thandazani Moyo.
Okay, thank you so much. I think my network is playing games with me.
Yes.
I was saying that this is one of the most important days that we have in the world, considering that we have got people who are benefiting a lot from this day. You can take a look from the people that come from the countries where there is war, political violence, and shortage of food and etc. So this day it's something very significant because people get to seek refugees or in other countries. So in short, actually, I really like the day, and I must say that it's something that needs to be recognized.
So, in fact, you are not a refugee but an economic immigrant. So, do you find some problems that are being faced by, some refugees being peculiar to your situation?
Well, yeah, that's it differs with the cultures and the people. Remember, when you are a refugee or you might in any country, you find out that people they live their own way, and therefore you have to resonate yourself so that you can be in line with the cultures of those people. So sometimes you find the people who are not comfortable, to stay with the refugees, and therefore it becomes a bit difficult. But on the other hand, you do have other people that are able, are peace-loving people that are able to welcome strangers, live with them in harmony. So it's a 50-50 situation. We have people who do not like refugees in their countries, and we have people who understand that when you become a refugee, definitely you are facing a serious problem, and those people may be able to at least accommodate you, and you can have a peaceful actually stay for the rest of your life, or for a certain period that you may be seeking refugee.
Now, looking at the situation of refugees worldwide, do you think that most refugees know their kind of, status in terms of what they are supposed to be doing and their benefits?
I feel there is need for a bit of education to at least create an awareness to each and everyone, because there are others who are not even understanding that they are refugees. Understand? For example, there are people that run away and enter into a country and still don't even seek for a refugee status. They just sit there. They keep on running away from the authorities of that particular country. They don't even understand that if they can approach relevant authorities and get access to some refugee documents. So there is a need for education, but there are others who have actually acquired enough knowledge of understanding that they have the rights. But I think a lot still needs to be done in making sure that we create an awareness to each and everyone worldwide, actually, so that people can understand that they do have the right, and of course, they in this very same education, I think we need to as well make them understand that when you are entering into a country, these are the rights that you have. And of course, these are the things that you need to comply with. It's because we find out that there are people who are running away from their criminal activities from wherever they come from, and then they enter into a country and they continue with their criminal activities. Some of them, they even start it when they are seeking for economic refugees. Then they get there, maybe they don't find jobs, and then they end up, venturing into some criminal activities. So it's very important to make people understand, but there are others who have understood the knowledge, actually. So it's a bit of, but many, actually, we've got many people who are yet to understand their rights and etc.
So, for those that don't understand their rights, what should they do?
Well, I should say that they have to make themselves, familiar. And right now, everything is there online. They have to start Googling, getting information from unnecessary websites. We've got people that have always been posting, important stuff. And of course, the other thing that they need to understand, especially, is to getting familiar with the people that they are living with, so that they can be able to make friends. And in the process of making friends, those who are within the country, remember, there are people who understand this whole thing, but they are not even refugees themselves. So it's important to have a conversation around these issues with the citizens of any country that you would have migrated to. Then when you create friendship with those people, they may be able to tell you, no, these are your rights, these are not your rights. You can do this, you cannot do this.
Yes, siyakuzwa kakhulu ke akusho ukuthi kunjani sibili ukuthi umuntu abe yisiphepheli. Impilo enjani naleyo nxa suyikhangela baba?
Dube abadala bathi ikhaya kusekhaya. Ekhaya kuhleli kumnandi, ekhaya kuhleli kukuhle. So mawusungaphandle kuba impilo eyokuthi okokuqala uyobe ungakhululekanga ngoba uyobe ungekho kini. Kodwa kuba lezinye izinto ozifumanayo kumbe ozitholayo eziyimfundiso, uhlangana lamasiko amatsha, labantu abatsha, ngendlela zokuphila ezihlukeneyo. So kukhona ama-advantages lama-disadvantages wokuthi ube yisiphepheli. Kodwa ke impilo sibili etshiyeneyo le mpilo yabo ujwayele ukuyiphila. Usungathola imfundo uma uyidinga, usungathola ama-experience ngeminye imisebenzi ongakazi uyenze, ngoba uthola ukuthi elizweni obuya kilo akakukho lokho, kodwa sukhona ukuthola kwelinye ilizwe ongabe uhambe waphephela khona. So impilo engathi iyahlukana kakhulu le mpilo yasekhaya, kodwa-ke kuyabe kufuna nje la uziphathe kahle, uzwane labantu, ulandele indlela abaphila ngayo. Ngiyakhona sibili ukuthi uphile isiphepheli esiphila.
Yeah, nxa sisikhangele singathi iziphepheli zibhekane lenhlupho eziningi. Akuzitsho ezinye inhlupho zangikhona ukuthi iziphi baba?
Okay, Dube, okokuqala abantu abaningi abayiziphepheli kaba-understand ukuthi ukuba ubuphepheli into enjani. So inhlupho ababhekana lazo kakhulu izinhlupho ezokuthi babe lamaphepha omsebenzi, ngoba iziphepheli eziningi ngumuntu uyabe ebalekile, maybe ebalekele ezinye izinto zakhe ezabe zinhluphe empilweni, kodwa uyabe ejiye ifamily kanye labanye abantu ekhaya okumele abagcine. So inkinga asuka ahlangane lazo ukuthi uyabe engela amaphepha okusebenzisa, engakwazi lokuthi angathola njani. Okwesibili futhi lubandlululo. Usuka abandlululwe mawusilizweni elingasolakho, obviously bazobe bekutshela ukuthi wena awusowalapha lokhu lalokhu. Njalo kwesithathu ngokuthi lanxa sebesebenza emsebenzini bayagqilazwa ngoba beziphepheli. Mawusetshenzelwa isiphepheli uyazi ukuthi hayi lo muntu kawazi amalungelo wakhe, so akulanto angayiyenza, mina sengingenza noma yini engiyithandayo kuye. So ngezinye zezinhlupho abantu ababhekana lazo senezo.
So briefly tell us about some of the challenges that are being faced by refugees in various countries, Mr. Moyo.
Okay, many refugees do not understand their rights, and they end up facing the problems of not having proper documents because when you don't understand your rights, you don't know where to get the documents. You'd have been running away from something else, then you have to feed the family at home. But when you get into another country, you have to get a job, and it's difficult because you don't have documents. So you end up not being able to enjoy your rights and not being able to experience the living conditions in any country that you have migrated to. And the other thing is exploitation. Many of them are being exploited. Because when you are waiting for someone who is understanding that you don't know your rights, and then that person tends to take advantage of your weaknesses, not knowing your rights, not having proper documentation, not having, people who can stand around you, so they end up being exploited, not being paid minimum wages. You don't have benefits. You just work, and you are working for something smaller. So these are part of the challenges that people are facing out there. And the issue of segregation as well. When you are not in your country, you are always called all sort of names. You are a foreigner.
Yes, we really understand you. So at the end of the day, we know that there are so many problems that are being faced by refugees. So hold on there. We are going to come back to you, Mr. Moyo. Now we're joined by Dr. Simba Mavaza of ZANU-PF. Dr. Mavaza, welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, Gibbs. Welcome, Gibbs. Welcome, listeners.
Thank you so much. So we are discussing this issue of, refugees. So coincidentally, today is World Refugee Day. So what's your take on this day?
Thank you. The World Refugee Day is an international day designated by the United Nations around the whole world just to honor the refugees all over the world. And it falls every year on the 20th of June, like today. So it is the strength and the courage of people who have been forced to flee their own homes, their own countries, either by tyrannic governments or by other political factors. It is a day when we remember how people have left their homes without wanting to. You see, the idea of being a refugee is repugnant because a refugee does not have a day to say, I must go back home tomorrow. He can't. A refugee cannot travel home like what we do. We are in diaspora. A refugee is not a diaspora. A refugee is a human being who wants to go home as soon as yesterday, and he cannot. And these are this is a day when we remember them. So it is a day which is quite emotional. I've spent half of my time in the UK as an immigration lawyer, and most of my clients were refugees from other countries, and some from Zimbabwe were refugees as well. So being a refugee is not something you wish any person on earth to have. It is, if there is anything which kills a person, is the nostalgia, the feeling of being home, the thinking of when would I see my parents. At least these days it's a bit better. You can go on a video call, but most refugees cannot afford an Android phone with a video. Most refugees are treated badly unless they're given the status. Most refugees are treated in camps, tents, like animals. Most refugees are not as independent as those refugees who are in the first world. So yes, this day is a day. My looking at it, Gibbs, the United Nations must do better than that. It must not only have a day of remembering the refugees. It must put into place some assistance to these refugees. Of course, there are laws under the conventional laws which do help the refugees, which are Section 1A allows that anybody who leaves his country because he cannot be protected by his government is a refugee. And but however, each country have got a definition which is different for a refugee. In some countries like England, you are defined as a refugee only when you are granted the status of being a refugee. But if you are not granted that status, you are not a refugee. You are either an asylum seeker or you are a person waiting for a decision. You only become a refugee when you are granted so. And unfortunately, one thing I have to say this, Gibbs, we can see that the world does not look kindly to refugees from Africa. In England, for example, refugees from Africa, from some countries, Asians and Africans, are now going to be sent back to Africa, to Rwanda, to stay there. Refugees from Ukraine are staying in England. They are told you can stay with them in your house, you'll be paid for that. If you stay with a refugee from Nigeria in your house, you'll be arrested for harboring an illegal immigrant. But if you stay with a refugee from Ukraine, you'll be given money for that. You'll see the inequalities on refugees. So I think
why is it so? Why is it so?
Honestly speaking, this is what we call racism, but it's institutionalized. You cannot understand it. A refugee from Europe is looked well after. Even if you, Gibbs, you come to England today and take a family from Ukraine, you'll be paid for that. You'll be given rent, you'll be paid money for food and everything, and they'll be paid as well. You take a refugee before he's recognized from any other country which is not in Europe, you'll be arrested for harboring a non-documented person. And now, a person who is in this country, even though he's right away from his country or not, he cannot have a driver's license. He cannot have a account. He cannot open a bank account. He cannot rent his own house. And the life is so. That's why most of them tends to crime. And some would go underground, hide, they're moving from one place to another. So today it's a day when the United Nations must look into all these things, must look into these cruel laws which are put by different mother countries and protect the human beings. A refugee is a human being, is a person. We can be a refugee anytime. So we cannot look down upon them. It's not their making. It's a political agenda which has gone wrong in their country. It's some other things, or it's their own will of trying to criticize their government. They've got a right to criticize the government. You have a right to say what you think about the government as long as you can support it. But unfortunately, Gibbs, in some countries, freedom of speech does not mean freedom after speech. So people suffer after saying whatever they are free to say, and then they become refugees. So my point is, yes, while today it's an international day designated by the UN for the refugees, I think they can do better than just designating a day. They can actually do some serious campaigns. They must put some laws which will protect these people wherever they are. Whether they are proven to be refugees or not, they must be protected. Above being a refugee, they are human beings. Behind such faces, there is a life. And that life is sanctity and must be protected by the United Nations.
Now, looking at your situation, in which you have been an attorney for many of these refugees, tell us the process in which somebody undergoes. Let's say Gibbs lives in Zimbabwe, goes to England to seek refugee status. What happens?
This is what happens. If you come to England seeking refugee status, the first thing you do, you have to prove that you are running away from, you are running away with your life, number one, from your country, number two, that your own government cannot protect you, number three, and that you are likely to be persecuted by your own government or by a political party inclined to, or rather supportive of your government, number three, or you can seek refugee on the basis that you are not allowed, you are going to be persecuted because of your religious beliefs. Even if there are some countries where Christians are persecuted by Muslims when Muslims are in power, or Muslims are persecuted by Hindus where Hindus are in power, vice versa. Any religious power which seeks to force you to be part of their religion or to be out of the country because of your religion, you can claim asylum. You can be a refugee. And again, you can be a refugee if you are running from some cultural differences where, for example, you are forced to marry a chief because he is the chief, and you are 12 years old, or you are 18, even if you are 30. But if you are forced to marry the chief, if you can't marry the chief, you'll be chased out of the village, and you go to town, you'll be chased out of the street. Everybody wants to kill you or stone you because you have refused to follow some cultural backgrounds. Then, if you go to a country, whichever country you go to, where you are safe from the persecution in your country, then you'll be recognized as a refugee. And finally, some refugees are accepted again for those people who are gays or lesbians, and they are not tolerated in their own country, and they are persecuted for their sexual orientation. You go to other countries, you are accepted as a refugee. So as a refugee, or rather a human rights lawyer for some time, I've dealt with all those cases. I've dealt with gay people and lesbians. Even though I'm not gay, I'm not a lesbian, I don't support or have a say on their sexuality. But when it comes to court, I will defend them with all my heart. So I defended a number of lesbians from so many African countries where they become refugees in Europe. But the sad thing again is sometimes the country you've come to, they look at your color before they look at your plight.
Okay, so hold on there. I think I've got another guest, and that is Mr. Mbuso Mhlanga. Mr. Mbuso Mhlanga lives in South Africa. He's based in that country. Mr. Mhlanga, welcome to the program, sir.
So, Babu Dube, thanks very much for accept. Ngicela ukuthi ngiyadrive ngiyafika manje endlini in the next 2 minutes, and then I'll be in a position.
Okay. No, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so you can continue.
Yeah, thank you very much. So we'll wait for you, Mr. Mhlanga, and then while I'm speaking to Dr. Mavaza. So Dr. Mavaza, you are raising very interesting issues there, and through your experience, I think we're going to tap into it a lot today. So now, let's say somebody has now been, the status has been approved. What happens next?
But in England, if you're accepted as a refugee, initially until 2007, they would allow you, 2009, sorry, they would give you indefinite leave to remain. So it means you are indefinitely staying in England. So after 5 years, you can become British. But now what they do now, if you seek asylum and they accept you as a refugee, you are given 5 years as a refugee. After 5 years, you can then apply to be accepted indefinitely, which is called an indefinite leave to remain. So after the indefinite leave to remain, after 2 years on indefinite leave to remain, then you can become British. So the position is, the moment you get the refugee status, you have got all the rights which the British people get. The only thing you don't get is the British passport. But you get a travel document, which is provided by the United Nations, but given to you by your host country. So that document allows you to travel all over the world except your country where you're running away from. So in some cases, some sad news is there are some people who come into England or another country, and they lie that they are seeking asylum. So that they are being tormented in their country. So they are given refugee status. And then within a year or two, they try to sneak back into their country. So when they are caught, and then they discover that you have been to your country, and yet you have said they want to kill you in your country, then they strip you of that status, and you'll be deported back to your country. So sometimes people would come and then lie, then they want to go back home again and do everything. But in most cases, once you are granted the refugee status, you now live in England, you are allowed to work, you are allowed to do everything, you can do anything you want, you can do what everybody's doing. If you are not working, you can queue for benefits. If you are working, that's better. You can go to school, you can go to universities. Your first degree is paid for by the government, so you can go and do your first degree. As a result, you've seen so many refugees and so many Zimbabweans in particular have gone to school. They've used their time, that chance diligently. And so we've got so many Zimbabwean graduates. Some have gone up to PhD levels, some are doctors, some are even professors. Some have excelled, but they came as refugees. So yes, once you are granted, your status is now accepted, you become a refugee. But once you become British, you are then allowed to go back to your country to visit or to stay and come back, since you'll be British. Now, it all depends with the country where you're coming from. The Zimbabwean 2013 constitution allows dual citizenship. You can be Zimbabwean, British, American at the same time. All along, it was not allowed. But however, even though it is allowed, the process takes some gruesome long time for one to get recognized as a dual citizen in Zimbabwe. But in England, you can be Zimbabwean, British. You can be as many countries as you want to be. You can adopt any citizenship you want to. But in England, in Britain, for you to become a British, you go through a process called naturalization, and then you'll be sworn in as a British citizen, and then from there you become British. Now, until last year, all along, if you are British, then you are British forever. But now the government of Britain has come up with a law which would say if you commit a crime and you are British, but you are not born British, they will strip your citizenship and take you back to your original country. So they do that probably because many people, once they get relaxed, once they get the citizenship, they commit crimes. Some they commit murders, some commit terrorist activities, and all these have actually tarnished the image of refugees. So that sometimes the enmity between the locals and refugees is not caused because people don't like refugees, but it's caused because some refugees have behaved in a way that the locals are afraid. People have become terrorists. They've come and donated bombs in train stations, bus stops, like in England in July 7, 2007, where about 58 people died in England, in London, because of terrorist activities. So people around will be afraid that how could you, we give you our benevolence, we make you a citizen, and you come and kill us. So sometimes the hatred which is directed to the refugees is not because people don't like refugees, but it's because of the actions of some of the refugees to their hosts, is in terrorism, robberies, thefts, and a number of crimes. But in a nutshell, yes, once you become British, your life goes on as usual. And if you are law-abiding, you have nothing to worry. And if you are on indefinite leave to remain and you commit a crime and you serve more than 12 months in prison, your visa is cancelled. You will no longer be, you'll be deported after serving your prison term. And if you are a refugee...
Mavaza, I think we're joined by Evans Zininga, my co-host. Evans, you can chip in, maybe pose a question in Shona. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Dr. Mavaza, for being with us on this show today. Inyaya dziri kunetsa munyika dzakawanda-wanda, asi nhasi sezuva ratiri kuziva tese kuri kucherechedzwa upoteri huri munyika dzakawanda-wanda. Tiri kunzwawo kuti pamwe matotaura nezvazvo ndisati ndauya handizivi. Tanzwa kune nyaya iri kuitika kwenyu ikoko yekunzi vanhu vakufanirwa kunzi vaiswe mamicrochips vachiuya neupoteri kuti vagone kutevererwa kuti vari papi, vari kuitei, zviri kufamba sei. Mazvinzwawo here izvi?
Aiwa, okay, rega ndingotsanangura zviripo zvati zvaakuitika ikozvo.
All right.
Kukurukurwa nevanhu asi haisati yava mutemo. Kune mutemo wabuda nhasi minyowani I think inenge yava pawebsite by 12 midnight. Mizhinji yacho hatisati akuiziva, but zviripo zvekuti kana uchinge uri mupoteri munyika inoi, chekutanga chavanobvuma kuti uri mupoteri unenge wapiwa mvumo yekuva mupoteri. Kana usati wapiwa mvumo yekuva mupoteri unenge wakamirira kuva mupoteri, saka unenge uchinzi asylum seeker. Asi kana uchinge wapiwa upoteri unenge wakunzi a refugee. So a refugee munhu anenge abvumirwa nemutemo munyika muno kuti ari kupotera. Kungokumbira upoteri hakuite mupoteri. Unongova mupoteri chete kana nyika yauri kupotera wapinda mairi yabvuma kuti uri mupoteri. Chepiri chinoitika, baba Zininga, ndechekuti kana uchinge wapinda munyika ino, pane zvinhu zviviri zvitatu. Chekutanga, vanogona kukuchengetedza muusungwa kana unenge wakavharirwa muusungwa, but anenge asiri majeri akafanana nemajeri atakajaira, unenge uchita zvaunoda, chikafu munopiwa, munoenda kunotamba bhora, munoenda kunosimudza masimbi, hamusi sevasungwa, asi hamubvunzwe kubuda panzvimbo yamuri. Makavharirwa mufenzi imomo, but you can do everything. Munoenda kuchikoro, munoita zvamunoda zvose, asi hamubvi panzvimbo ipapo inonzi detention center. Kana kusvika wapiwa upoteri, kana waamupoteri unobva waburitswa wotsvaga wega kwekunogara. Mazuva ekutanga vanombokutsvagira pekugara. Chepiri, vanokupa mvume kuti aiwa iwewe unenge wakavimbika, hatikoni uchizotiza kana tikakunyima, saka enda hako unogara. Unogona kupiwa dzimba dzehurumende kwaunonogara ikoko, uchipiwa chikafu, asi vakasununguka uri kunze. Vanenge vaona kuti zvakamira sei, vanowanzopa vanenge vane mhuri kana vanenge vachitemba newe kuti uyu mawiri avaita hausi munhu anogona kutiza. Chetatu, unogona kunzi aiwa tokuisa inonzi tag yekuti tinenge tichiziva kuti uri kupi, uchizoita sei, uchizongoya kuzoripota kamwe chete pasvondo kamwe chete pamwedzi kunzvimbo yemapurisa kana kuti kumaoffices evanoongorora nezveupoteri kwatingati kuno kuhome office. Saka kazhinji mitemo iyoyi kana ichinge yaitwa, of course vazhinji vanenge vasina kufara kusungirirwa mabhengoro mumaoko kana mumakumbo ekuswera uchingoteedzerwa kunzi uri papi, zvinenge zvisina kumira zvakanaka. Asi kazhinji ndo matatu avanotora kuti vaone kuti vakuchengetedza pauri here. Izvi zvakauya nekuti vanhu vakanga vachimbotanga kupinda muno vachizopotera vainzi endai vaipiwa pekugara, vanzi gara henyu mozouya tobetsera nyaya dzenyu. Asi panenge angobva paairport haachadzoka futi, obva atongonohwanda kuchimutsvaga haachawanika. Saka unobva kuti vanhu vanongopinda pamwe vari kunyeba, wazotizei kana une nyaya yekutaura. Ndopa vanozokumanikidza paya kuti taakukusungirira bhenguru kana kuti taakukuisira chekuti togona kukuona. Asi nyaya hombe iripo vazininga, kwete microchip aiwa, inyaya yekunzi kana uchibaya kuzopotera muEngland, vanokutora vokuendesa kuRwanda. Nekuti hurumende yeRwanda yakabvuma kuti inogona kuchengeta vari kupotera vari kuya kuEngland, azitipeiwo because kuRwanda kune vanhu vashoma. Nyika yavakurira, tinge vazhinji vakaparadzwa munguva iya vakanga vakambomukirana iya. Saka kusimudzira mbeu yenyika vari kuti huyai, ivo vari kubhadharwawo nehurumende yeBritain, vakavakirwa dzimba netumahotera kwekuti vanenge vabva kuno vapotera vanokandwa ikoko. Asi vazhinji havasi kufarira zanyo rekuenda kuRwanda. Takaona svondo rakapera ndege yaida kutakura marefugees kuenda kuRwanda. Vazhinji vemunyika munomu nedzimwe nyika vakaungana vakarara mumugwagwa wenzira muranway kuti ndege isasimuki. Saka ndege haina kutosimuka. Vamwe vakamhanya kumatare kuti vaite macourt orders to stop the deportations. Saka ndege haina kusimuka nekuti vazhinji vari kuti aiwa, kana munhu auya kuEngland ndo kwaarida kupotera, taurai naye ikoko, mumupati ugara ikoko, kwete kuzomukanda kune imwe nyika. Dai daenda kuRwanda, dakangonanga kuRwanda. Saka angonanga kuri easier for him. Saka dambudziko iro richiripo, haisati yapera nyaya yekuendesana kuRwanda. Kana vakangobudirira pamitemo yavo, tichangoona vanhu vachikandwa kuRwanda. Asi vakarudza kudare, tichangoona vachigara muno.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mavaza. Let's talk to Mr. Mhlanga. He lives in South Africa. He's a Zimbabwean. Mr. Mhlanga, welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Yes, we see that there are some people that are living in South Africa as refugees, and some who went to South Africa as professionals. So in the first instance, we are talking about refugees. So what's your understanding about, the way refugees are living in South Africa there?
Dube, all what I can simply say about the refugee system or program in South Africa, they say when you enter the border, the immigration department of South Africa at the border, you must immediately declare yourself that you are coming in as a refugee, whether you've got a passport or you don't have a passport, but you have to declare yourself. Then those people at the border there, or whatever entry point you used, then they will give you a form which will be completed to show when you presented yourself to them and you declared yourself that you're seeking for refugee status in South Africa. Then from there, you'll take that form. They say within 5 days, if I'm not mistaken, or 4 days. Then if you are going to go to Cape Town, or you want to proceed to Joburg only, or to Durban, wherever you will find base, then you must go to Home Affairs with that form and declare yourself that you are in the country seek refugee status. And this is the form that you got from the entry point to say you have come in, you have presented yourself to the immigration, and you want refugee status. Then I'm not very sure there, because I haven't been exposed to that kind of a system. But apparently, if that is the case, they'll say, okay, look for a place where you want to stay, or if you've gotten that place, then they will issue with that asylum thing, or whatever it is, the refugee status, whereby you are able to look for a job, you are able to work in South Africa, you are able to they sort of issue an ID. Like I've seen some of the guys from Eritrea, from wherever, who are refugees here. They give them an ID, which they are going to be using maybe for work, for opening bank accounts and so forth. But you can choose where you want to stay. Then I'm not sure if they do have any camps where they take people to those camps. But last time I heard the Minister of Home Affairs talking about things like that, that if you are here as a refugee, then you must be at the camps, not roaming the streets of South Africa, until and unless maybe you are cleared to go and stay wherever you want, and then get a job to do.
Yeah, kodwa singathi ngaze sikhangele ba Mhlanga. Usuku lolu World Refugee Day luqhatheke kangakanani?
I would say it is an important day ngoba it recognizes rights of refugees, be it whatever country, and refugees now they feel they are recognized. But in some countries it's not. We haven't actually seen anything about this day. Let me say, here in South Africa, I haven't seen anything about it. So, but for its purpose, I think it was all right to even now refugees would feel recognized in societies where they are, their rights respected and observed. Things like that.
Yes, siyakuzwa kakhulu ke. Sicela mama khonapho ke sibuyele ku Evans lo Mavaza. Evans qhubeka khona.
Vachiripo here Dr. Mavaza. So Mavaza andizivi ukuthi pane here zviri kuitwa nemasangano akasiyana-siyanawo ari mu UK area menyu kucherechedza zuva ranhasi, kana zvirongwawo zvavari kuita zvekubatsira zvizvarwa zveZimbabwe zviri mumastatus eurefugee muarea yeUK.
Thanks baba. Muno mu UK mune mapato akasiyana-siyana anomirira kodzero dzemarefugees kana kuti dzevapoteri. Zuva ranhasi vari kusangana munzvimbo dzakasiyana-siyana, maguta akasiyana-siyana, vachingokurukura nekutaura nekucherechedza zuva iri. Ndo zvananga ndiri kutaura pekutanga musati masvika kuti dambudziko ratinaro nderekuti zuva iri rinongori zuva rakaiswa parutivi neUnited Nations, asi hakuna chinobatika chinobuda mariri, hakuna chinokosha chinoenda kumunhu anova refugee kana anova mupoteri. Vanongotaura nezvevapoteri nekungoimba nekungoti vapoteri vanhu vakasungikana vasingagonodzokera kunyika kwavo, zuva ropera monwa mvura, monwa madrinks, modzokera kumba, modzokera futi paupoteri. tanga tiri kuti United Nations inofanira kuti sezuva rakaita sanhasi vasangorisa parutivi chete asi vatange kutora matanho anodzivirira upoteri number 1. Number 2, anochengetedza vapoteri vanenge vapotera. Tanga tiri kuti tambotaura nechirungu kuti kana mupoteri chakaomera mupoteri baba Zininga ndechekuti anenge ari kunyika isiri yake asingagone kudzokera kunyika kwake nekuti ari kutya kuurayiwa kana kupondwa. Kunyange ingangova iri hurumende inoda kumuponda, ingangova ari mamwe mapato ada kumuponda, oro vamwe vemasondo chaiwo pane vanotiza kuda kuurayiwa nevamwe vamwe machechi zvakaita semamuslim anenge achida kuuraya maChristians or Christians ada kuuraya mamuslims, and your government cannot protect you. Munhu iyeye anotiza oenda kune nyika yaanokwanisa kuchengetedzwa. Saka kazhinji sezuva rakaita sanhasi vanongounganidza ivavo, vongounganidzwa, vongoonekwa, vongobuda paTV, vonwa dzingo, voenda kumba. Asi hakuna danho rinobatika ravari kutora kuti tingavachengete sei. Hongu tinoda kuti tipe mbiri kana kukudza kana kutenda veUnited Nations nekuti mitemo yavo yatinoti the convention charter ya unochengetedza une bumbiro remitemo inochengetedza vapoteri. Asi dzimwe nyika hadzitedzere mitemo iyoyo, dzine mitemo yayo yakaomera upoteri. Sezvakaita munyika yeEngland, vapoteri vanobva kunyika dzakaita sekwaAfrica tambozvitaura havabatwe zvakanaka sevapoteri vanenge vabva kune dzimwe nyika dzemuno dzekuEurope. Ndokupa muenzaniso uripo baba Zininga. Vapoteri vari kubva kuUkraine vari kutonzi kana vachinge vapinda mudzimba dzenyu vapei dzimba, vapei pekugara, tokupai rent, tokupai chikafu. Asi mupotera anobva kuAfrica anonzi akangopinda mumba mako asati apihwa mapita ekupotera, iwewe tinokusunga. Saka inotori mhosva kuchengeta mupoteri asina bepa rekuti reupoteri, asi ndokunge ari potera abva kupi? Abva kuAfrica. Saka kusiyana kwekuti wabuda mumba manu kunoratidza kuti upoteri uyu tine mamwe vanhu isusu titori vapoteri takatopotera in our own black skin, nekuti hakuna aroda kutiita free from it, vari kungotiona sevanhu vasina nebasa rese. So hongu kupindira mubvunzo wenyu ndatirebe sei, kune zviri kuitwa, kune mitambo yekudya nekunwa, asi mitambo iyoyo haina chainobatsira muupenyu hwemupoteri anenge ari mukati menyika ino.
Yes, Dr. Mavaza, can you tell people maybe in 1 minute, what's the difference between an asylum seeker, a refugee, and all these other categories? Just 1 minute.
Right. A refugee is a person who has been forced to leave his country in order to escape war, persecution, natural disaster, or religious differences, and has been accepted in the country he is as such. So in other words, if you are called a refugee, you should have documents which say you are now accepted as a refugee. An asylum seeker is a person who is running away from his country for the same reasons, but has not yet been accepted as a refugee. He is actually seeking asylum. Asylum simply means protection. Refugee means protected. So an asylum seeker is somebody seeking the refugee status or somebody seeking the protection. But a refugee is already given the protection. That's the difference.
Yes. So, but they've got rights as well, right? What are some of their rights?
Every human being has a right. So under human rights, you must be treated as a human being. You must be treated fairly, whether you've been granted asylum or not. You must not be treated like an animal. You must not be treated in harsh conditions. And that's what I've said now. If we look at the laws of England, they are very harsh on asylum seekers. Asylum seekers, or rather those who have sought asylum and they failed, they've not been granted asylum and they've not been deported. They are still in England. They face a lot of hardships. They are not allowed to work. They are not allowed. They don't get any benefit. They don't get any help. They are not allowed to rent a house. They are not allowed to drive.
How do they live?
That's the problem. They live illegally. They try to live underground. They try to live in a house. Sometimes they use some people's names. They will come and say, Comrade Gibbs, can I just use your ID card to get a house to rent? So you'll end up having a Gibbs living in 7 houses it simply means there's one proper Gibbs, the others are using the name because they need protection. So it is the conditions which the British government has put, which makes it difficult for an asylum seeker to remain an asylum seeker in England for some time. That's why they go underground and they try to play mouse and cat with the police and with the Home Office, because the laws are so tough and unreasonable on humanity. They actually breach the human rights. This is the reason why politically, Gibbs, why England or United Kingdom was so quick to run away from EU. The Brexit came because they were saying the EU is forcing us to keep the asylum seekers, to protect them, give them asylum, and they wanted to run away from migration and immigration matters. So they're to blame. It's like every other country where they start failing in their political agenda, they blame the foreigner. Where the government is having problems, they blame the foreigner. Where there's unemployment, they blame the foreigner. So there was a time when Britain would blame the foreigner for taking their jobs. Britain would blame the foreigner for taking their houses, council houses, and everything. And as a result, the EU law would simply say no, treat them as human beings until they get their papers or anything else. So now that Britain stands on its own now, it's no longer under the EU. There are a number of laws which are being done here. You've seen a lot of people being deported back to Zimbabwe for after their asylum has failed, and that would not have happened if they were still under EU. But however, the irony of the thing is, when the plane was about to leave to go to Rwanda last week, the EU law sprang into action and forced Britain to stop the flights under the EU law. Even if they are no longer under EU, they are still bound by some the dictates of the EU law. So in other words, yes, the Refugee Day, the International Refugee Day, must go beyond just being a day. It must be a statement to other countries who treat the refugees as non-humans, who treat the refugees human than others.
Thank you very much. What siye kubaba Mhlanga ngesintu singakayi ku-Evans. Ngesintu sibili ungathini ke nxa sikhangele khona ukuthi kulaba asylum kuzobuya lama-refugees sokubuya lama-professionals angena emazweni atshiyeneyo edinga imisebenzi.
Ya namhlanje bona ngani ngifunda kubaba lapha into ayishoyo ukuthi i-asylum ne-refugee kuchiyene. Lana eSouth Africa besiphunga ukubona abeZimbabwe ukuthi abadinga i-asylum alaba babo DRC Rwanda le bathi lenye le okuliwa khona eSudan kuthiwa ngama-refugees. So bengingazi ukuthi okunye kulandela okunye kodwa kusiba yi-one into. So ma ungabheka like lana eSouth Africa, yona lento esho ngubaba, the way ama-refugees are treated, especially on the grounds ukuthi bangaphi kuyenzakala. That's why uthola namhlanje nje kunje South Africa, when they talk of foreigners, they are talking of abantu beZimbabwe kakhulu, they are talking of Nigerians, they are talking of Mozambicans, they are talking of mainly black people. Angaze ngizokhuluma ngama-foreigners, ukhuluma ngama-British, ngama-Americans, ukuthi bangama-foreigners illegally or whatever way, but you will find them, they come here. Recently we had a case of a lady from Lithuania there. She came in here as a refugee here Ukraine. And she had come for a party in Cape Town. So all these things, it shows ukuthi bakhona abalungu, whether Britain, from Britain or from America, from any other places, ezingadingi ama-refugees ababuya lana bafike bazihlalele nje, uyabona. For example, I will tell you ukuthi a British citizen, when they enter South Africa, I'm talking of white ones possibly, when they get into South African immigration, whatever port, whether it's on the land or whatever port, they are given 4 years. Unlike thina abanye when you entering in South Africa uvele Zimbabwe ngepassport yakho utshelwa ngokuthi sakunika 7 days so kumele ukuthi umuntu azadize ukuthi aphiwe mbe 30 days but British people come here bahle bafike baphiwe 4 years straight and in those 4 years umuntu uyabe senza wenza ngakwenza then after 4 years elapse uthola ukuthi umuntu lwana akasabuyele kubo UK le and bakhona ama illegal immigrants from those places abangasoma refugees kodwa abakhulunywa ama refugees from Africa we see them being really treated you know with a hard hand especially laba abavela ngapha kubo Central Africa and so forth okungathi kunezimpi khona they are crying foul the way they are handled whereas ngapha la khona ama-asylum seekers or abaphethe ama-asylum sitsho kanjalo kubo Zimbabwe now batshela ukuthi eZimbabwe akunampi akunani so you cannot have an asylum so all these things siyazibona ziyenzeka and they are really hard doing kubantu abahluphekileyo abazodinga that kind of assistance. I know South Africa is like receiving quite a lot of abantu coming in as refugees from all over the world. Even Nabase Ukraine, they are coming here. Bechia khona Europe. So in abo ama resources abo sethola seyandelwa yibo bonke laba bantu abanjalo ukuthi uthola ukuthi because of this effect of color engitshoyo abantu abamnyama will definitely have to suffer compared to these white people so then abangena let me say those who are fortunate to have ama permits like I said it's really becoming very difficult even in ama permits bewaphiwe kuhle ukuthi renew seems quite an uphill task and you have to go through ama lawyers and pay lots of monies then bayale the time again to appeal its decision might be negative. They take their time. You can stay 2 years lokumele leo appeal and it's making life very difficult. Meanwhile, Emma banks, the moment the permit yako expire, bank account yako by freeze. The moment the permit yako expire or aslam, you can't renew a license here moto. You find yourself deprived of a lot of things.
Thank you, Mhlanga.
So it's quite difficult right now to be either a refugee or an asylum seeker or whoever you are. It's really becoming difficult in everywhere.
Thanks so much. Evans, chip in, we are remaining with just a minute.
Okay. So is it in closing, can we safely say there is need, Dr. Mavaza, like you said, there is need for re-looking into the whole refugee and asylum processes in the UK and elsewhere else in the world to refine this?
1 minute.
I think there is need. I agree, Mr. Zininga. There is need for United Nations to standardize the process of awarding refugee status on people. So it should be uniform in the whole world. It must not be different as per the country, because they are all running from the same thing, from the war, from persecution, and from anything. So at the moment, refugee status is given differently in Germany than in England, and differently from Poland and England, and differently from England and South Africa. So the UN must take a lead and make sure there is a standard to be followed, and the refugee must meet the standards put by the UN, and then people will be judged as per the UN standards, and therefore there will be less discrimination because of where you come from.
Then your last word, Dr. Mavaza, 30 seconds.
And finally, we would say while today it's a refugee day, it's a day to remember. There are some people who are still refugees in their own country. They can't come out of their house.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We wish to thank Dr. Simba Mavaza. Today he was working in his capacity, or talking to us in his capacity as an attorney. He's an immigration specialist. Then we had Mr. Thandazani Moyo in South Africa, Mr. Mbuso Mhlanga, also in South Africa. And signing off from Maryland, this is Gibbs Dube saying, have a lovely, lovely evening.
And this is Evan Zininga. Have a wonderful night. We will see you soon.
Good night.